Welcome to The Shift, the podcast that empowers you to make a change in your life and chase your dreams with passion and purpose. If you are tired of feeling stuck in a life that doesn't fulfill you, if you have big dreams and ambitions but struggle to turn them into reality, if you want to break free from self-doubt and limited beliefs, join us every week to listen to inspiring stories from regular people just like you, actionable insights, and the motivation you need to make the shift towards your own dreams. And please don't forget to share, subscribe, and leave us a review to help spread the message and inspire others.
Hello. Welcome to the next episode of Shifters. Today I have a good buddy of mine, Mark Stewart. Mark has been working for a big company. He's been on W2 for about 17 years or so, and recently he made a shift and became a business owner. But I don't want to go into too many details right now. I have him on our show, and we are going to be diving into asking more questions about what he did, how he did it, and what's next for Mark. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, G.
Hey,
pleasure to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure having you, man. So our show is about, just to give you a little background, our show is a little bit, is about people who are planning to move from 9 to 5 to become business owners or entrepreneurs or investors, or who already made the shift. So I would like to ask you is, tell our audience who you are and what you did in the past. What does your life look like before you actually became a business owner?
Right. So my name is Mark Stewart. I worked at one of the local power supply companies for the last 21 years. I was at another power supply company for 6.5 years before that, working as a program manager. And then for the most part, I kind of, up until like the last 2-3 years, for the most part, I really enjoyed my job. I say like 70%, right? I mean, people don't wake up and say, hey, I'm going to be a program manager when I grow up one day. But I got into it, and I made a nice living at it. It was one of those ones where I was making 6 figures, matching 401k, full medical, full dental, 6 weeks vacation, the whole bit. With the last few years, I'm not sure if it was the COVID thing or what, but I was never leaving the house. But it was very much, I got real tired of the whole sitting at my desk, grinding all day. It was just from get up at 7:30 in the morning. Sometimes I wasn't logging off till 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Our company became global, so we were never off. I had con calls with Vietnam. I had con calls with the UK. So we were just never off. And that's what it turned into. It felt like I was never off. The company really started to grow, going through growing pains. Stress became very, very high. To the point to where me and my wife, it was just constantly, we were getting into fights because I was never present. I was constantly, we'd be sitting there watching TV, and she knew I wasn't there. We'd be having a conversation, and she would see that I was still at work. I was thinking about work. On the weekends, we'd go somewhere, and it was I just couldn't relax. I was constantly just in work mode all the time. And we ended up having some issues about it. And we knew something had to change. Yeah, as far about, and then at one point, I even went to my company, and I kind of told them, hey, I turned in, this is a few months, or not to say a few months, it was a while before I actually did start my own thing. I kind of told me, hey, I put in my 2 weeks, said I was leaving. Of course, being there 20 years was I have a lot of knowledge, a lot of tribal knowledge in the company. I really know how to get things done. Of course, that didn't go over well. My boss's boss called me. At one point, the president of North America called me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They convinced me to stay, but it was under I kind of said, I'll stay under the, certain circumstances. One, it's I'm not going to be sitting at my desk from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night anymore. I told him, hey, by 5:30, 6 o'clock, I'm going to be logging off. I have a life. I have three teenage daughters. I have 18-year-old twins. They're seniors in high school right now. They're getting ready to leave. I wanted to have a life with them. And basically, so anyway, they convinced me to stay. I did another, I think, 9 months. Things weren't getting better. If anything, they were getting worse. I literally couldn't sleep at night because of the stress.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really bad. And then we just kept talking about it. And finally she says, look, I know you dog train something you're real passionate about. Why don't you think about starting a company? And we kind of did like a little bit of a proof of concept kind of thing. We kind of got it going, did a little proof of concept, and it kind of took off a little bit more than what we expected.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then we got to the point to, like, in January, we said, okay, let's take 2022 and use that as our proof of concept year. Let's see if we can really make this work. And then by, I would say, the end of February, we go, all right, we need to reevaluate. Let's get to April. In April timeframe, let's reevaluate, see where we are, see how the company's doing. We'll go from there. And then by the end of March, or middle of March, it's like, all right, we need to make a decision. I can't continue to do both because I was working 2 full-time jobs at that point. So we just, it's kind of exciting, kind of scary all at the same time. Because like I said, I got 3 teenage girls that's going to be in college next year. I have to pay for that. Leaving the security of being at a company for almost 21 years. And like I said, 6-figure salary, 401k, and just leaving all that behind, start my own thing. But I figured I'm not getting any younger. If I want to chase that dream, I'm going to chase it. So we pulled the trigger, and here we are.
Kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. Yeah, those things could be really scary.
Yeah.
But let's pause for a second, okay? Because you did tell us a lot about small nuggets that I want to go deeper.
Okay.
So, but first things first, I would like to know, like, so you've been working for more than 21 years. You got to the point, like, okay, you can't do this anymore. You want to do something else. You want to chase your dream.
Right.
Like, what was going on? What was the point? What was the trigger that sort of you relied on to say, okay, enough is enough? Like, what was that specific point? What was that specific thing?
Oh, great question. I can't point to one specific moment. It was more of just being worn down.
Okay.
It was like, literally, I got to I guess the best way I could put it, it was burnout, right? It doesn't matter what I do. I take a lot of pride in my work. And I found myself at my desk working from home, just like, I couldn't get motivated. It was like, I just couldn't. I mean, there was work I knew I had to get done, and I just couldn't engage. And again, the best way, I think it was just burnout. I just literally, and then it got to the point where it's like, I remember just going, I just don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do it. And you don't want to do something, it's really hard to do it.
Yeah. Totally.
So, I mean, but like I said, I can't think of that one specific instance where I said, that's it, it's enough. The only other thing I can think of is I was having, and this, I'd already kind of made up my mind at this point, but I was actually had my annual review with my boss. Mm-hmm. The review was going well, everything was fine, but she kind of like started to lay out the path for the next year, and like some of the new trainings I would have to do and this and that. And I wrote it down as she said it. She's like, I hope you find this fun and exciting. And I actually wrote it down, and I went, as she's saying all this stuff, I'm going like, I absolutely do not find this fun and exciting. and I guess,
did you actually say it?
No,
No,
I didn't. But I wrote down when she said it, and what was funny about it, we finished the review, talked to Allie one more time, called her up the next morning, put in my 2-week notice. I go, that's it. I go, I don't find, and I even told her, I go, it's like, I don't find it fun and exciting. I just really don't want to do this. And don't get me wrong, I love the company I work for is a good company. The team I worked for, I wouldn't want to be on a different team. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to do it anymore.
I get the feeling.
Yeah, I just didn't want to do it.
Got it. Yeah. And a lot of people, they do want to chase their dreams, right? They do want to get out from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5.
No.
Some people actually enjoy it.
Yeah, for 27 years, it provided me a good life, and it's what I needed. I wasn't ready for this back then, so
yeah.
No, it's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, and a lot of people have limited beliefs, right? They either don't believe in themselves, or they just tell themselves they're not that good, they won't make it. Could be anything,
right?
Like, what was one of the limited beliefs that you had to conquer?
Almost exactly what you just said. Like you said, you described it really well. I was that 9 to 5 guy, right? It's like I went to work, tasks would be put in front of me. I just knocked those tasks out of the park. The confidence to walk away from that, the confidence that, well, I can do my own thing. I can make this work. But it was probably like a little bit of lack of confidence, being scared to leave that security, to start your own thing. So that was probably definitely like one of the limiting factors, or one of the things that was really in the back of my mind to help me back early on.
Got it. Yeah. So that's actually, like, you also put it very well. It's actually one of the biggest reasons why people don't jump into what they actually want to do and build their lives on their own terms.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned also one thing, that you built proof of concept. It's actually a pretty good thing. Like, you've been working, and on the side you've been doing this proof of concept.
Right.
So for people who actually do want to start something, and sort of build something for their own, like do something on their own, what would you recommend? How would you recommend doing this? How would you recommend starting proof of concept?
So you have to great question. So I was kind of lucky because I always kind of had, so CalPro dog training was something, because I worked as a dog trainer back when I was in college. And that's how I kind of got into it. It was a great college job getting through. The company I worked for was really good. And so it was all, and back then I remember thinking, like, I could do this. I was like 19, 20 years old. I actually came up with the name CalPro dog training back then when I thought about doing my own thing. So I was pretty lucky in that sense. But I had a goal. I mean, I had something that I wanted to do, something I was super passionate about. So if there's something you're really passionate about, and it's something you can make money at doing, there's that old saying, if you can do something or make money doing something you love, you never work a day in your life. I hate to say it, I'm kind of living it now. It's kind of true. But if you can find that, and just start slow, start on the side, get that little side hustle going where you're just making a few extra dollars at it, and then just kind of like slowly start growing it. That's kind of exactly what I did. It was funny. I was down in San Diego with my girls. We were down on a soccer tournament down there, and we did a sailing on the bay on a sailboat. And I was talking to the captain of the boat, and he had just left the tech industry. He was a mechanical engineer, manager of a mechanical engineering team. And it was the same kind of thing. He said that he'd come home from the days he was out sailing, working his little side hustle. And he said, it's like, his kids would say, oh, we like it a lot more when you're out sailing versus when you go to work. And I kind of talked to him a little bit. I go, yeah, kind of getting my own thing. And the first thing he's all, oh, do you already have your side hustle going? And I go, I do. And then he kind of like gave me some tips and advice as far as getting the side hustle going. You kind of build it at the same time and launch it from there. It's like, so.
What was the one piece of advice that you could remember he gave you?
Just the whole proof of concept thing. He's all, just don't cut everything off right to get going. Kind of like build it slowly on the side until you have a little bit of something going, and then you feel comfortable making that switch. That would be the one thing that. Then again, don't in the beginning. Me and Allie, my wife, in the beginning, we were definitely, there was points where we were both working well, I was working 2 full-time jobs. She was helping me out with CalPro, plus she's working a full-time job, and wouldn't get home till 8, 9 o'clock at night. There's dishes in the sink, and it was like, who's doing these dishes? We've both been super busy kind of thing. So, I mean, it's a lot of work in the beginning. But at the end, I mean, for me so far, it's really paid off. I've really been enjoying it.
That's great. Yeah, man. This is some very impactful stuff. So, I mean, kudos to you and kudos to your wife that you guys are sort of breaking through this.
Yeah.
This is, not everyone can do it. And this is very inspirational.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if you recall back a little bit, what educational source do you think impacted you the most in your business?
I don't want this.
If you had any.
Yeah. I don't want this to sound corny, but it was life, right? And when I say that, what I mean is, so I dropped out of college early. I was dog training, and like I was going through that. And then it was funny. It was a guy that I was actually dog training for hired me to work at his company. And at that point, I was like, okay. I started out like as a shipping clerk. Kind of quickly, I became the warehouse manager. From there, I was promoted to subcontractor development manager. From there, I became a program manager. And then XP, or the company I was working at, bought the company I was working at. And so, but the work ethic that was installed in me was very much like, you had to get it done, right? And I think working from the bottom of something and working my way into the position that I did at the company I did, it taught me a lot. It taught me it's like, sometimes you have to grind, you have to work hard. There wasn't excuses for not getting the job done. I had to get it done. And I think that's what really kind of prepared me for getting this off the ground, and just like having the work ethic installed. And it's like, this is what you're going to have to grind sometimes to get things done. So I think that education of like starting at the bottom of the company, grinding and working hard and trying to prove yourself all the time and working your way up. Because when I was 19, 20, and like, yeah, I had the thought of CalPro in my head, but I wasn't ready. I was too young. I didn't have enough knowledge to build a company and run a company. Or now I think now I'm ready. I got a lot more business experience. I've got a lot more experience dealing with people and that kind of thing.
That's impressive, man. Love it. So, what is the one tip that you would want to share with our viewers and listeners today so they could actually take it home and implement it right away?
So the one thing I guess that, and I try to instill this in my daughters, is just the work ethic. I mean, if you want something, you have to go work for it. And it's not always going to be easy, right? But it's just that there's times you have to grind. It's like, I didn't get home last night till like 9 o'clock. But like I said, the company's still fairly early on. And right now it's like, I'm taking a lot of business like further away than what I would like to. Like I've got dogs that I'm training all the way from San Francisco right now. And with gas prices the way they are, it's kind of like, ugh. It's like, it cuts into my profits. But right now, it's like the company's young. I'm willing to do whatever it takes right now. So just having that work ethic, like, and not give up. It's just like, there's times you just have to grind.
Right. These are some really gold nuggets. So guys, what Mark was just saying, if you want to do something, you have to go for it, right?
Yeah.
You have to hustle, you have to grind, build that confidence, and just don't give up.
Yeah.
Even if the things go bad, even if you don't see any results just yet, just don't give up. Keep grinding. The results will come.
Yeah. My one of my vendors that I used to work with, he I've worked with him for 20 years, and he was super. When I told him I was leaving, he was super supportive, and he's his own business owner too. And he kept telling me, he's all like, Mark, you're gonna struggle that first year. He's all, but He's all, just stick with it, keep doing what you're doing. He's all, it'll all work out. And so, and that's the one thing that even like right now, it's like sometimes it gets, don't get me wrong, it gets scary. There's sometimes like our phone doesn't ring for a little while. It's like, oh boy, did we make the right decision? And then the next thing, the phone starts ringing again. It's like, okay, we're okay. But I remember him saying that. It's like, okay, that first year, things aren't always going to be perfect. It's like, you have to just stay the course.
Cool. Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about, I know you've been telling like small details about your business, you're training dogs, which is awesome. I think we need more people like that. There are a lot of dogs that don't behave really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, in lots of neighborhoods. But tell me a little bit more about your business. Like, what is it that sort of sparked your interest to become a dog trainer? Like why do you like dogs?
Oh, so I got, again, I was probably 18, 19. I was just going into college. I got a little puppy Rottweiler. And I knew that this was going to grow up to be a big, strong dog. And I knew that I just couldn't, I had to get it trained. It's like, it wasn't a thing. Even at 18, 19, I just got really into it. Did a lot of research, found a company that everything sounded really good to me. Mm-hmm. And I started going to this company, this dog training, started working there. And the more I worked with my dog, the more of the relationship more training you do with them, the bond you have between you and your dog gets stronger. I really got into it. I really enjoyed training with them. I really enjoyed watching the progress. I really enjoyed the fact that wherever I went, I could take him with me. So he was my buddy. I tease my kids to this day. So make no mistake, that was my firstborn. He was just my buddy. And the more and more I got into it. And one day I kind of just went to the owner of the company and I go, hey, I really like doing this. I goes, you ever hiring trainers? I would go, I'd love to learn. Mm-hmm. First he told me no. And then, but I found out later, what he told me later, he was just watching me. He wanted to see, he just wanted to watch how I was handling a dog and stuff like that. And then one day he came, he's like, you're still interested? And I said, yeah. I go, I'd love to do it. And I had to go, I think it was like a 5-month internship where like I didn't get paid. I just had to follow. I basically shadowed him, had to shadow some of the other trainers, had to learn to work with different dogs. I had a big dog. I had to learn to work with, little dogs. But the more I got into it, it's like the more I loved it. The company I was with at the time, though, obviously I was 19, 20 years old. I wasn't gonna be able to make a living at it, though. And again, I was too young to like, I'm gonna start my own thing and take off with it. I just wasn't ready. But that's how I kind of got into it.
Nice. That's super cool. And what are you currently working on? What is the biggest challenge that you're currently facing at the moment in your business?
Probably the biggest challenge right now is, oh God, great question. Kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Because the reason I say it, knock on wood, things are going really well right now. I'm getting a lot of word of mouth. That's starting to spread. So probably the biggest challenge I'm running into right now is just time. I'm kind of a one-man show at the moment. And that's like, I'm hustling so much. So time is definitely a thing, because like on top of like dog training, I also have to do all my marketing, trying to build the websites, and unfortunately, I'm getting older. I'm not like the kids these days. Social media is super important. So trying to build like the Instagram page, trying to build the Facebook page, but trying to get all that done. But at the same point, I'm also out I'm dog training, and I'm super customer focused right now. I'm really, really motivated to try to give my clients the dog that they want, even if it takes a few extra weeks, just because it's like, I'm trying to build my reputation. I'm trying to rebuild my name. I'm trying to build a CalPro brand. So that's probably my biggest challenge right now, is trying to do everything. And like I said, thank God, my wife, Allie, she's a godsend. She literally helps me every step of the way. She takes a lot off my back and stuff like that to try to help. So, and she's working another full-time job too. So she's, like I said, she's a godsend.
Yeah, that's cool. A lot of people that do want to start something, they are not on the same page with the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a bummer, because if you don't get supported by other family members, it's kind of discouraging, right? And it could actually get you away from your from building your dreams. It's actually very cool that Ali is on board. And how did you have to convince her, or how is it?
The exact opposite. She literally, she's like, leave that job. She's all, start this. I mean, she was the one like pushing me. She's all, let's do this. Yeah, I was the one that has reservations. I was the one that was scared, because like, hey, we got 3 teenage daughters going into college. We need to pay for this. And she's just like, nope. She's all, you can't live the way you're living. We can't do. She's all, let's do this. So she gave me all the support in the world. Even my father-in-law at one point, he worked in tech for years, and he was part of the whole, tech can be really kind of cutthroat at times. And I remember him just telling me, it's like, I went and talked to him one day about it, and we were talking. He's just like, he's all super excited for you. He's all, forget them, leave. He's all, start. And I was going, wow. And I remember at one point, I remember thinking, I even think I told him, I go, God, if one of my teenage daughters, or one of my daughter's husband's boyfriend says, hey, I'm leaving a really good job, I'm going to start my own dog training company, I'd be going like, what are you doing? But he's just like, no, go do it. He's all, so it's been great. My whole family, they've been behind me the whole way. So I've had a lot of support. So it's been great.
Great.
And I think to what you're kind of saying, to that, that allowed me to give me the confidence to really kind of go do it. To know that I do, not that I kind of have a parachute, that if something happens, everyone's got my back and no one's going to blame me for anything. But at the same point, that still gives me a lot of motivation to make sure this works.
Yeah. I mean, it better work.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But I believe in you. I know we met a few times outside of this podcast.
Yeah.
So I've known you for quite a while. So I know you can do it. And
one of the things that it's always been one of my own personal analogies. Like I was going to redo my backyard a few years back. And I remember I went and I tore up the whole patio. Just went out there with a sledgehammer and a crowbar, and I tore up the patio, smashed it all up. And the second I got done, I turned around and I looked at it and I went, oh my God, what did I just do? But because like, it was absolute, and I did, but at that point, I remember just it doesn't matter what I did. I have to fix it now. There's no choice. I have to fix this. And so, one of the analogies I always kind of say to myself, it's like, well, time to tear up the patio. He just go, I have to fix it. So I quit my job. This has to work. I have to make this work. So.
Yep. There is no turning back. Awesome, man. So what's next for you? What is your next big goal in your business or milestone that you want to achieve?
So I already hit my first goal. I've already pretty much replaced my tech income, which is good.
Fabulous.
Not 100%, but I'm pretty close. And I've been doing that for a few months now. So that's pretty good. The next step, I just want to keep growing it. And then, so we're at the point right now, we keep talking about, it's at what point do we bring on another trainer? At what point I find the next Mark Stewart, someone young, enthusiastic, someone that wants to get into it, and that I can groom to come up underneath me to really start growing it. So that's probably going to be the next couple steps. Again, that's a whole nother scary step I'm afraid to take, because right now it's very much, like I told you, I'm kind of very much about very customer focused, very trying to give the customers what they want. So quality control is super important to me. So it's really kind of scary to kind of like bring on another trainer and then all of a sudden I'll let them train, because it's my name out there, it's my reputation, it's my company out there now. So, but that's kind of be the next goal, is building it to the point where I almost have to bring on somebody else to help me.
Got it. Yeah. It's like when I talk to business owners, entrepreneurs that have to delegate things to other people, that's one of the also scariest points.
Yeah.
Because they want to do everything themselves. But you can go only that far if you're alone.
Exactly.
Right? If you have a team, you can go further.
Yeah. That's probably gonna be that's the next goal. That's the next, but again, there's a lot more work I have to do between now and then. I definitely have to build, like I said, I think I mean, if you really want to look at it, I mean, we started this in January. I've only been doing this full time since April 1st. So we have some more work to do, some more marketing to do, build the business a little bit more, but that's definitely the next step.
No, cool. Hey, I'm looking forward to see how it grows.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the end of the show, we have a fun round. I want our listeners and viewers to know a little bit more about you. So I do have a few fun questions to ask you. All right, so number one, let's go back for a second to elementary and middle school years. What was the younger version of Mark look like at that time?
Oh, my God. Probably too different. Elementary school, man. I was probably ate too much, got a little too round. I don't know, probably a little nerdy in elementary school. Junior high kind of changed a little bit. That's when I got into sports, started playing sports. I was, even in junior high, I played on the volleyball team. I was on the basketball team. I think I was on the track team. And that's when I got into sports and athletics and stuff like that. So that's when that kind of changed for me. So
got it. Okay, cool. What is your go-to Halloween costume?
Go-to Halloween costume. God, I think I have 3 that I rotate between. One's like a Star Trek costume. Other one's like William Wallace from Braveheart. And of course you have to have Batman in there.
Man, nice. If you were to describe yourself with one word, what would it be?
One word. I've always kind of thought this, loyal. I've always tried to be like super loyal, kind of like dogs, right? Kind of loyal to my friends, my family. If they need me, I always want people to know that I'm there for them. So I'd probably go with loyal.
That's actually a great part of the character. Cool. All right, so in 100 years, science fails to save us, and all that is left is a book about your life. What would the title be, and what would the blurb tell us about Mark Stewart?
Oh, what would the title be? About Mark Stewart, right? Not about not about my company or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know?
I guess, again, I hate to sound corny. I don't know. Mark Stewart, Father of the Year kind of thing. My kids are super important. Obviously, my kids are super important to me. So, I don't know. Oh, good God. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Something like that, I guess. My kids are super important to me. No, Mark's family, man, I guess. Something like that. I don't know.
The family, man. Love it. Love it. And the last question. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Oh, right now, today, it's simple. Big billboard. Me and my dog, Havoc. CalPro dog training. Let us help you. Let us help you become a stronger pack. Kind of thing. With the logo, picture of me, Havoc on there. Maybe a call to arms and different stuff that we provide. Big old huge billboard that everyone sees. That's what it would be right now.
Excellent. Mark, thank you so much for coming to the show. I know there are a lot of people who are about to get dogs or who already have dogs. How would you like people to reach out to you? Where they can find you?
We're on, obviously you can, calprodogs.com is our website. That's obviously the best way to get us. And then, obviously our phone number. God, I don't even know if I know this is going to sound crazy because I don't do this part of it. But is it okay if I give our phone number, Eugene?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this information is going to be in our show notes. So if you want everyone to see your phone number.
So our phone number is area code 408-712-9915. And then the website, like I said, is calprodogs.com. And then our email address is calprodogs@gmail.com.
Great. Yeah. We're going to put that, we're going to put all the information in our show notes. So feel free to reach out to Mark if you have any questions about dogs. If you want to train your dog or if you're about to get a dog, he can probably help you to choose the best one.
Yep, I've done that a few times. I've gone with a few people out to put their pups out of litters and stuff like that, and that's so far that's been working out pretty well as well.
Superb. Mark, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on our show. I know we'll probably see each other very soon, but It's been awesome.
Thank you, G,
so
for
much.
having me. This was, like I said, it's one of my first interviews I think I've done, so it's been great. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
We hope that today's episode has inspired you to take action towards building the life you've always wanted. Don't forget to leave us a review, share, and subscribe to our podcast for more empowering stories, actionable insights, and motivation to help you make the shift towards your own dreams. Thanks again for listening to The Shift.